What's up, bullish friends? Hope you guys are all doing well out there today. And I want to get right in to my review on Pharma Fortune. So I put out a review the other day talking about the program, and I made some mistakes in it. So I want to apologize today, first and foremost, to you guys, my community, because I need to do better at making sure I don't make mistakes in the information that I cover. I thought I had all the information I could find that was available. Well, there was a lot more out there, so I made some mistakes there. And I want to apologize to the fortune hunters and the people who are in Pharma Fortune or in their entire fortune hunter ecosystem, because it's my job to make an accurate representation of what they're trying to do. And I don't feel I did that, and I definitely made a mistake. And the biggest mistake I made was by starting off the video last time talking about them claiming that they had a 0%, they were relying 0% on Ponzi. Well, they actually do not make that claim at all. They basically say they're working towards getting away from having to rely on Ponzi at all. So I made that mistake right up front. That's one that I misunderstood from reading some Medium articles, and I watched another couple YouTube videos, and it was not from the community itself that made that claim. So I do apologize for that. That was a mistake. The other thing I will say before I jump into this, I did go over and ask quite a few questions over in the Telegram group. The Fortune Hunters group, they are very cordial, very easy to ask questions to, and they didn't shy away from any question that I asked. So I do appreciate that, and I think they are a community that is actively trying to do something good in DeFi, okay? So, and I mean that honestly, that it's good to see a group like that, and it was good to see them come over and defend their project, because they just want accurate representation. I know myself, if someone accidentally represented me in a different light than what I was, I would probably be upset about that as well. So again, that being said, I do apologize for the mistakes that I made, and I'm going to cover it again in this video, and let's see how this unfolds. But those were the main mistakes I made in the last video, and I might have had some of the other information slightly off. But I understand where I made the mistakes now, so I'm going to cover this, and we'll go through my thoughts on this as a whole. So anyway, as always, I appreciate you guys' time. Nothing that I'm talking about in this video is financial advice, so always do your own research, and let's go from there. So first off, Pharma Fortune. Okay, so they have this whole Fortune Hunters online community. They have several projects that are involved in this. So there's Cake of Fortune, Elk of Fortune, Pharma Fortune, Mischief of Fortune, the Fortune Miner, and an NFT collection here, okay? So they have all these different platforms that somewhat tie together. They sustain each of the other, from what they explained to me, they sustain other parts of the platform by having all this stuff in the community. So different parts of the platform sustain other parts of the platform. I will show you, they have a entire, like a financial paperwork thing they have here. It's a Google spreadsheet. Sorry, I lost my train of thought on that. And you can go through and look at the different revenue streams that are involved in all these different areas of Fortune Hunters. I'm not going to go through all these. And yeah, I mean, there's no point in me covering all this stuff in here. You can see all the different finances. I'll put a link to this in the video description below, so you guys will be able to get access to this as well. This is something too. It's nice. I would show this off if I were the Fortune Hunters, because this is actually pretty cool. So these are the different revenue streams that are coming in that help sustain this network, basically. And I really think this is cool, and this is something that helps get away from the Ponzonomics that we're used to seeing in DeFi. Now let's jump over. I want to go right into Pharma Fortune here, and then we're going to talk about their recommended strategies, and we'll go from there. So Pharma Fortune, and this is where I made a mistake too last time. I didn't realize there were two different websites for this. So I was on the Pharma Fortune website, this one here, and they actually have a another website, and this is basically like the white paper where it describes what they're doing, what the full description of the network is. So what Farm of Fortune is, it's a B&B farm. It's a hybrid ROI DApp. And here is the actual description they have of the project. So FOF is another project developed by the Fortune Hunter team. It's a fork of the B&B Crops Yield Farmer by the Crops Farmer team. Users can select from 3 different plans paying up to 2% per day to 200 days. And those plans are these right here. They have plan 1, 2, and 3. They do a 2% daily return for a duration of 200 days with an ROI of 400. Plan 2 is 1.5% daily return, 150 days for a 225% return on investment. Plan 3 is 1.5% daily, 90-day return or 90-day duration on a 135% return. Okay, and then you can see the minimum to deposit in each one. 0.1 BNB for plan 1, 0.2 BNB for plan 2, 0.2 BNB for plan 3, and a max deposit of 50 BNB into each of these areas. So whichever one that, if you were getting into this, that you would want to get involved in. And obviously, plan 3, though the return is lower, the duration is shorter. So it gives you potentially less exposure, less risk to the market by having a shorter time frame, more risk, more exposure when you go to plan 1, but a higher ROI. Okay. And they are also, like right now, they are 60 days away from, you can see this over on the Dune stats. After 200 days, the first group of long-term wallets basically are out of the system because this only pays out for a short, or for this duration. So the original 200 days ago, the wallets that first connected are going to be off the system. And so that should take some of the financial strain off the network at that point. And I do like this about the system. I mentioned this last time too, that it doesn't pay out indefinitely, which is good because that makes the platform more sustainable. Some of these things I've covered in the past, they'll give indefinite payouts, and so you go in and it's like, oh, for my whole existence, I can keep getting paid out. Well, eventually that collapses the system. There's just no way to sustain that. This will help put this on a road to make this sustainable. Okay, so let's go back. So now going back into Farm of Fortune, I'm right here. It is built with the aim of becoming the first ever 0% Ponzi project in DeFi. For that purpose, we use 42% of every deposit made in the pool and other low-risk protocols where we compound, and hopefully we'll be able to reach a point where the amount of funds in the pool is high enough then the interest generated from those are enough to cover all deposits 400%. Okay, again, going back to that spreadsheet, you will be able to see that here. Now, right now, this protocol, okay, so Farm of Fortune and the entire ecosystem, they're not saying that this all right here, all this income stream is sustainable right now, okay? So they still have to rely somewhat on Ponzi. Which, as you know, most programs, when they start, there's no way to get away from that. There always has to be a small element of Ponzi, or there's just simply no payout. So I'm not opposed to having a little bit of Ponzi, especially in the beginning of a protocol, okay, of something getting started. You have to have some of that. So this investment right now, all these investments that are over here, don't cover the entire ecosystem on a regular basis. They still have to rely somewhat on new wallets coming in. And I asked that question and I'm just pulling up a screenshot because this makes it a little easier, so I'm not getting a bunch of pop-ups and stuff from Telegram while I'm doing this. But I grabbed a screenshot. I did ask a question in the Telegram group. I asked, if it still relies on Ponzonomics to operate. There was another part to the question, but I'm not 100% sure what I asked. But basically, it was just about this being a Ponzi or just having enough Ponzi in here. And I want to read part of this here. So Nelson, which I don't know if he's just a moderator here. I think he actually has some involvement in the program as well. Maybe one of you guys that are in Farm of Fortune can answer that for me. I didn't really ask that question, but I think I've seen that name on a Medium article maybe that's attached to this program, so someone can let me know on that. But Nelson answered, currently the miners, Cake of Fortune, Elk of Fortune are around 60 to 90% reduced Ponzi. As more people join, the percent goes lower and then gradually back up. On TFM launch 2 days ago, ATM is 100% Ponzi at the moment, is 100% Ponzi. On the farms, Farm of Fortune and Mischief of Fortune, the Ponzi is around 70, as only an average of 20 to 30% daily are new deposits, and thus the Ponzi in the farms is more about the community following the recommended strat that is about new investments. But like I said, depends on the way people view things. The NFTs are 100% Ponzi free. Okay, now I want to bring up the strategy that he's talking about here. So the strategy that is being mentioned there, they use the pizza strategy, which is what they suggest members who come into this use, okay? And you can find that on the Fortune Hunters .online website, and it's just up here in the recommended strategies. Now, what this strategy asks its members to do is basically split their investment between Farm of Fortune and Mischief of Fortune as desired. And you claim, so you make a claim, Farm of Fortune every 5 days, Mischief of Fortune every 15 days. You reinvest 50%, you ROI 25%, and invest 25% into the other farm. By following the strategy, you are maximizing your earning potential and platform sustainability. So ultimately what they're saying here is that this helps, it makes you some ROI, and it helps sustain the platform. Now, I did ask them if they wanted everyone to follow this strategy and prevent bad actors from coming in and just only claiming all the time and killing the system, potentially killing the system, then couldn't they just program this into the code and make this happen? And they actually had a good answer for that. And they said, basically, they don't want to force people into doing things, and it's their money, and that's how they basically want people to allow to claim out of the system. So if someone wants to claim out 100% all the time and just take their money and get out with their 400 all the way down to 135%, you could do that. But they suggest helping keep the system going by reinvesting 50%. And actually, inside the Telegram group, which you can find right on the website there, all of them talk very highly of the entire system, and it looks like everyone plans to follow that, because all of them were chiming in, saying a lot about how it makes the community stable, keeps the platforms operational, keeps all of this going, and everyone seems very eager to not just line their own pockets, but help everyone keep this going. So that was really refreshing to see in a community. It's really nice to see that. It's just nice to see the people who get along and they're actively working to create something very cool in DeFi together. Now, when you do invest, and I should have mentioned this earlier, when you do invest in any of these plans, whether you're doing this in Farm of Fortune or Mischief of Fortune, your money gets locked up in here. So if you put in, let's say you come in here and you put in 0.1 BNB, well, your 0.1 BNB gets locked into the system, and then you earn your 2% daily, okay? So it's like how many other programs are out there, like Drip and several others, where your money basically comes in, gets locked away for the duration, but you earn on a daily basis. Okay, so that's how that all works. Now, going forward, if this is something that you want to get into, okay, I will have the links in the description below. They're not referral links. It's just a link to all of these, to the Fortune Hunters page here. So this page here, this home page. There we go. So it's a link here. It'll be a link to Farm of Fortune. If you do decide you want to get into any of this, make sure you go and you read all the details about all of this. And honestly, if you're going to be part of this, I believe on this particular program, you have to be part of the Telegram group. So if you hate Telegram and you don't want to be part of that, I highly recommend staying away. If you don't mind using Telegram, jump into Telegram. They do a weekly AMA every Sunday from what they were telling me. And I'll probably jump in on some of those going forward. But yeah, I think on this one, you have to be part of the Telegram. There's no question about it because it helps you understand what the community is ultimately trying to do. You can get a lot of the information you need from out here from the main website. You can go to any different project and basically their white papers are just basically right on the actual page for you there. But I do believe you need to be part of the Telegram group for this. And I will say the other thing, they're very upfront about this being kind of an experimental thing. They're not guaranteeing this is going to work. They do mention, like if you go through and read this, they mention DeFi is high risk. Cryptocurrency is high risk. DeFi is the highest risk of all. And they're not kidding on that. DeFi can be super risky. It's a lot of unregulated stuff. It's a lot of experimental stuff, and things sometimes do not work out. So if you're if you've got a high tolerance to risk, then DeFi is something for you. If you don't, then it's definitely something you stay away from. They do also recommend, as always do your own research. I always recommend doing that as well. Don't just listen to anyone. You've got to form your own opinions, okay? I say that every time because there are people who will just blindly listen to someone and they end up getting totally screwed over. Now, that being said, I think I've covered everything I need to cover with this project. That's basically what the whole plan is. Let me see if I'm missing out on anything here. Go down back to Farm of Fortune here. Okay. So yeah, they do talk about the plans on here, which I already mentioned how that works. Oh, there is a 3% tax that goes to the team on all claims as well. From what I understand, this is the first project. Farm of Fortune is the first project they've taken any cash from, any of this from, but 3% does go to the team. Yeah, and this just walks through the tax structure as well on this. I'm just making sure I'm not leaving anything out. Okay, so also on the mechanics of this is an important feature as well. So Farm of Fortune features some never-seen mechanics that make it into a new type of hybrid farm ROI DApp. Max payment is in days instead of the usual 360 in ROI dApps. 5 days cooldown period. User needs to wait for a minimum of 5 days between actions. 7 days max reward accumulation. User needs to take action within 7 days from their previous action or the rewards will stop accumulation. This is also an anti-whale feature, preventing someone from accumulating high enough rewards that could just drain the contract on a single claim. So they don't want people basically just banking up an account and then coming in after banking it for 5 months and just doing a big drain, okay, and then killing the contract and hurting the other people who are involved in this. No compound option. Compound keeps funds in the contract while at the same time allowing users to grow their position on the project. Fortune Hunter's team views this as a problem that affects most ROI dApps and farms, thus we have removed it. If users wish to grow their positions on the project and extend the max payment beyond the max 200 days, users must open a new deposit, which I actually really like that. Each new deposit will pay out its daily reward for the duration of the selected plan at the moment of deposit. All active deposit rewards are claimable at a single moment. If a user has 5 active deposits, all rewards generated from those 5 deposits will be claimed together. There's no claiming individual deposit rewards. This works to optimize gas fees. Max 150 BNB accumulation deposit per wallet. All right, so pretty cool. And then here's also the sheets, ROI total injected. This is like the balance sheets. So if you want to grab those, they're on this page as well. Again, I'll link to all of this in the description. But as I said, overall, again, the people in this community seem like they are good people everyone trying to make a profit together. And they are currently not Ponzonomics free, but they're working towards that. Personally, right now, if I do get into this, and I'm not getting in this right now, but if I do get into it, it will be a very low amount. And this is what I always recommend anyway. Anything you do get into, always make sure it's money that you can afford to lose. Like if you have to pay your rent and you have to decide if you want to get into something like this or if you want to pay your rent, pay your damn rent. Don't even think about it. You need food on the table, put food on the table. So always be smart about what you're getting into, even when it seems like a good thing. Okay, and I want to leave it at that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If there's any questions, ask below. To my community, thank you guys. You guys are awesome. To the fortune hunters, you guys, I think you're doing a good thing. Hope this makes amends for my previous video, though I never really thought anything bad about the community. But I did make some mistakes in my previous video, so I wanted to rectify that. And I appreciate you guys answering my questions, and I appreciate what you're trying to accomplish with this. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed the video, give me a like, give me a subscribe, share this with a friend. I will see you guys in the next video.